Hello and welcome to the Classic Hollywood Movie You Should Know. I'm Nate Washburn. This week the movie is from 1943, Stormy Weather, starring Bill Robinson and Lena Horne. Now what makes Stormy Weather an interesting film to watch is that during the golden age of Hollywood, the major studios almost never made films with an all-black cast. It happened occasionally. There's a few movies like Hallelujah by King Vidor, Cabin in the Sky, which came out the same year as Stormy Weather, and Stormy Weather. But it didn't happen because Hollywood at the time, America at the time, was incredibly racist, and there's still implications of that today. But the common belief held by the higher-ups in the studios was that an all-black cast couldn't work. And it's really unfortunate that they felt that way because this movie proves them wrong. Now the story, Bill Robinson, known by his stage name Bojangles, he's one of the most famous dancers in America at the time. So the loose plot, it's a very loose plot, is that Bill Williamson, played by Bill Bojangles Robinson, is a World War I vet. He meets Selena Rogers, who's played by Lena Horne. They have the beginnings of a relationship, but they're both performers, and will a relationship work between two successful performers as their stars continue to rise? And they kind of meet each other, they split, and the whole point of the movie is like, will they come together? They cross paths occasionally, but will their romance continue? But that's not the point of the movie. The whole point of the movie is to showcase black performers at the time. It's a short movie, it's 78 minutes long, and yet there are 11 musical performances. It is mind-blowing, and the performances are so damn good. Plus, you actually get a substantial role for Lena Horne, who is one of the greatest talents of the 20th century. She was under contract for MGM, but they really didn't know how to use her. She is beautiful, she's a great actress, she's talented, but she's black. And at the time, leading ladies weren't black. Again, it's one of the terrible sort of things about the classic golden age of Hollywood. So MGM didn't really know how to use her. They loaned her out for this movie. She was also the lead in Cabin in the Sky from the same year, but these are her only two substantial roles of the 40s. She got a little frustrated with the whole system. She left movies, she went back to the theater, she achieved stardom on TV and in Broadway and all these shows. She's a megastar on par with like Judy Garland. That's the level of talent. Now the performers, the way Stormy Weather works is that each musical performance is another huge name. Cab Calloway, famous for Minnie the Moocher, among many other songs. You got Fats Waller here singing Ain't Misbehavin'. Fats Waller is a member of like the Songwriting Hall of Fame. He wrote Honeysuckle Rose. You have Ada Brown, you have Katherine Dunham and her dance crew. And the scene that really solidifies this movie, it is the Nicholas brothers, Fayard and Harold, dancing to Jumpin Jive by Cab Calloway. I can't even really describe it. I don't know how they do these leaps and these jumps, and they're dancing on a staircase and they're doing all these splits. To put it into perspective, Fred Astaire was actually quoted as saying, this sequence, the Nicholas brothers dancing to Jumpin Jive, was the greatest dancing he had ever seen on film. So a little trivia, the reason this movie came to be was produced by 20th Century Fox. Again, at the time, movies with all black casts almost never happened. But this one came to be because of World War II. So the Office of War Information, OWI, was tasked with raising public morale, and one of the things that they wanted to do was to improve relations between the races, between whites and blacks. 20th Century Fox rose to the occasion. They made Stormy Weather, and it was a hit. It was a sizable hit. It wasn't a huge, massive hit because a lot of theaters refused to book it, especially throughout the South. Still, it was a hit, and it got an amazing write-up in the Times, and it really just, this movie goes to show you what could have been if people believed and behaved differently back in the 30s and the 40s, and if the golden age of Hollywood wasn't as racist as it was when black performers were relegated to playing servants and maids, the mammies, the butlers, all that stuff. If they had the opportunity that Lena Horne and Bill Robinson have in this movie, there's so much that could have been done. So do yourself a favor, watch Stormy Weather from 1943. It is this week's classic Hollywood movie you should know, and it should be known by more people. Give it a watch. I'm Nate Washburn. Keep watching.